I want to address Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, food, warmth, love, care, shelter. You know, we say that you know, and a lot of us we study it, and we've gone to college and we learn about Maslow, and you know, a lot of people don't even know about Maslow. You know, our own parents have never heard Maslow, but that's real. Like that is that's the basics of life, and many of our children in this community aren't getting those basics.
Well, I'm Marcus Tellis. I grew up in Prospect. My mom grew up in Prospect, and also my grandparents. My grandparents still live in Prospect to this day, and so do I. I graduated from Johnstown High School. Then I went on to play, I got a full ride to UPJ for basketball, so I went on to play basketball for 4 years. I graduated from UPJ, and then I went on to play overseas in Luxembourg for 1 year and in England for 2 years. I was an assistant basketball coach at UPJ, and right now I have an AAU program that I'm help running. I have clinics going on at the YMCA. I coach a 3rd and 4th grade basketball team, and I also work at the daycare located in the Prospect community. So I'm familiar with all the kids around the area.
I came across Marcus when we were starting the league at the Y. I wanted to have somebody who's really good with area youth, and the Y staff highly recommended him. Turned out I was impressed because of his background in playing pro basketball in Europe, but more importantly, I got to know him as a person and what kind of guy he is. He's a superhuman being and a real role model for kids in our area.
Marcus is a really good coach. He's been my coach off and on for like 1.5 years in different leagues, but now he's my favorite. He's the best coach.
A lot of people that I grew up with, it wasn't that they were bad people or they were just inherently negative people. It's just, I think just society and them just wanting things, and their family and their parents not being able to provide everything that they want at the time. So I see a lot of people end up in the streets. I see a lot of people not only selling the drugs, but using the drugs. This past summer, I think we lost about, just this community alone, we lost 5 kids that were under 25 to overdoses. And then a lot of the kids that I grew up with, they're either dead or gone because of overdoses or because of street gang fights and shootouts, or they're in jail. So a lot of the kids I grew up with are, sad to say, are either dead or in jail or strung out on heroin or whatever the case may be. So
The kids that you see in the newspaper daily, weekly, the ones who have been killed in our community, in our Johnstown community, I know their parents. I've had conversations with them. Those students have been in front of me 100 times. I love them, and here I am going to their funeral. That's a horrible situation to be in, to go see a mother burying their 16-year-old, 17-year-old child.
Purple.
Like how you say purple. She says, say orange.
Can you say orange? I also see a lot of kids that need extra and special attention that they may not be getting at home, and that we try to provide here at the daycare, and just to help them keep them on that right path, but with only having them for, you know, just maybe a day. Like today is a day off of school, so we had a day off of school, so we have them for the whole day. But most of the time it's just we got them in the morning, put them on the bus, and then they're back home for us for a few hours and they go back to their parents. So there's those few hours that we get to be with them and help them and try to mold them into better kids and better just humans. But I think that's not enough. That's why I think we need more programs for after school, after daycare, so then we can just keep their minds occupied and just keep them engaged and ready to evolve into a better person.
One of the programs that we have here in the Greater Johnstown School District is the Backpack Project, where we've recognized that, you know, children were coming back to school Monday and they, you know, haven't eaten all weekend. So we know that they're going home Friday and they're not eating until Monday. So the only safe haven that they have and the only warmth and food many of them are getting is in our schools. So, you know, us providing 3 meals a day for these children and after-school programs, they don't want to leave our schools. Well, you know, what does that tell you? They're outside of our doors waiting in freezing weather to get inside because that's where they know that they're safe.
And definitely from my perspective, I feel like the community has gradually gone down. We had more things to do than these kids have now. We had places like Grand Slam, we had a roller skating rink, and then like I said, we had the communities that all summer long, they had programs for the kids, basketball, checkers, dodgeball, tournaments, taking them on field trips. Now, I recently was working with the Girl Scouts, and what I really seen in the communities is they just need something. Like, they're ready for anything. Anything that comes into the communities, they're ready to be engaged and ready to be involved in it. And as growing up, we had those things, and I think with it just dissipating and going down gradually, that it just results in the community, and it results in how the whole Johnstown looks now. So
there's not a lot of activities for children in this area who do not have access to money.
For fun, really, I just go to friends' houses. There's nothing to do around here. I mean, we have this a couple nights a week. Other than that, there's really nothing.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16. So as a 16-year-old guy growing up in Johnstown, like, do you think there's a lot of things to do for kids your age?
No way. No way. Johnstown needs a lot more stuff to do.
Yeah, I mean, the strongest memory is my folks had a grocery store, and really that was my safe space, if you will. I went to school in the morning. I'd come back from school and I'd walk over to my parents' grocery store after school, and I would wait on customers, I'd mop the floor, I'd count money, I would run errands for my father. So in a sense, I had a second school in addition to my academics that was structured and organized, and it was right next to my parents every day. So I couldn't have gotten a better introduction to the capitalism, to the economy, to money, to life, and setting goals. My parents, if they didn't set goals, wouldn't have been able to run the store. So for me on a personal level, I had a space and a place to go, and structure and mentors and supervision and goals set for me because my family owned a business. Now that is something that not every child can have, but we can have a substitute if we have spaces and organized programs for kids from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. when they go to bed. If we have those programs available to them on Saturdays and Sundays, and we have those programs available to them, June, July, and August. Why does that matter? Because it helps them set goals and push forward in life. People without structure, people without goals often don't get anywhere. We need kids that have a desire and a passion to accomplish something in their life, and not just get by and think of tomorrow or next week or next month, but where they're actually going to end up in terms of making a living and maybe having a family of their own someday. And the only way that we can get forward on this is to make sure that those kids from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays, and June, July, and August, have the kind of structure and opportunities similar to those that were given to me by my parents. And how can we do that? There are existing programs in our community. We know about ACRP, we know about the YMCA or the YWCA, but the question is, can we create an ecosystem in our community, either with existing programs and funding at a higher level, and or creating some clubhouse spaces so kids can go and learn some of the things that I learned standing behind the counter at my parents' store every day from grade school all the way up through high school.
I couldn't imagine what it's like to grow up in the projects today. and be there from 4 o'clock till the following morning, go to school, go back to it, and then on the weekend you're there also. You know, a lot of us say, well, yeah, they live there, and they'll be all right. Well, guess what? You can say that, but guess what? There's a lot of kids who aren't all right, and they need our help.